Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a traditional Korean dish called tteokk-guk. So first up, you're going to need some kind of beef. It doesn't really matter what kind. Then you're going to get a bowl and fill it with just enough water to cover your beef. This is to extract blood and any kind of physical contaminants. This is a recipe for around 4 to 5 servings, but however much you're making and whatever pot you're using, just fill your pot a little over halfway with water. This is optional and I'll get into why a little later, but these are called dashi packs and it's to make the broth and add a little bit more flavor to it. This pack specifically has kelp, shiitake mushrooms, and anchovies. You just want to rinse it for a few seconds. Then you put the pot on the stove and put it on high heat and just plop the pack right in. When you realize that the water your meat is in is getting a bit red or bloody, dump it out, and for good measure, I rinsed it again, and also because my meat is in chunks, I pulled them apart. After that, I put them in water again. Our next ingredient is green onion. Thoroughly wash this as it has crevices, so there may be hidden dirt, and also peel the outer layer if you feel like it's needed. After that, you want to cut the roots off and the ends if it seems dry or a little dead. This is mostly for aesthetic purposes, but I like to cut mine at a slight angle, and they should start to look like this kind of oval shape. Continue cutting it like that, and you're done. When the water looks like it's about to start boiling, take out your dashi pack and start putting your meat in. So an alternative to the dashi pack, which will give you a more rich flavor, is using sagor, or beef leg bone, and a lot of people use that to boil with onion and green onion roots and other vegetables. As it's boiling, just get a ladle and scoop out the broth scum. It helps make the broth look clearer later. Then we move on to seasoning. I used a 1 tablespoon measurement. To start off, I did half a tablespoon of makganjang, also known as flavored soy sauce. Then another half tablespoon of tuna extract. To top it all off, I added a splash of fish sauce. This ended up not being enough, so I did add more later on. And this is the perfect time to start defrosting your rice cakes. Again, just enough water to cover it. And at this point, you want to start taking your meat out. This is our first garnish, and you want to start cutting them. You can wait until it cools down a little bit, but I just wanted to cut it right away, so I used my tongs. It doesn't matter what shape it is, but I thought this was a little too big, so I cut them more into skinny rectangles. Then you can dump the water out that the rice cakes are in. Our second garnish are the eggs. You want to separate them into egg whites and yolks and fry them so. Once again, if you don't have the dashi pack, this is also when people start frying the meat. They season it with a little bit of soy sauce and leave it so they could use it as a garnish later, or they put it back into the broth to add more flavoring. A fun fact about tteokk-guk is that it was actually originally made from long rice cakes, and it was to represent living a long life like noodles. Before cutting them, you can separate the eggs by color. I forgot to do so here, but you cut them in half and then layer them on top of each other. After that, you want to turn it 90 degrees and cut them into rectangles just like the meat. You can cut the excess off on different sides for a cleaner cut, and you're done. Here I changed pots because I was actually eating earlier than my family, but I put as much rice cakes as I wanted and waited for it to boil before adding a pinch of green onion. Our final garnish is seaweed. If yours looks like mine and it is a giant rectangle like this, I took 2 out and then I cut them in half. Just like the eggs, you want to layer them on top of each other and then cut them into rectangles so that the shape matches the eggs and the beef. Then we move on to plating. Another fun fact is that different rice cakes represented different meanings like good health, wealth, fortune, or to ward off evil. Tteokk-guk is usually eaten on the first day of the New Year's. It's to represent living a long, wealthy, and healthy life. If you liked the video, leave a like and comment down below. What do you usually eat during the New Year's?